Good morning, everyone. Today's video is going to be over why I don't bother with conspiracy theories. There's a lot of them out there, such as like Congress is all really just lizard men looking like humans, or aliens made a deal with Kennedy, or all kinds of weird things. Here's more believable ones, but those are not believable. So why don't I bother with them? Well, number one, and most importantly, is they distract from the gospel. Read the Gospels, read the whole Bible. You'll never find a text that says, oh, go research this thing that you're never going to know for sure is true or not. You don't see it. You're not going to find Jesus in whether 9/11 was an inside job or not. You're just not going to. You're not going to find the gospel in whether or not Kennedy really made a deal with short, gray aliens. The next reason is because they sap happiness. Humans have always been fascinated, ever since the fall, humans have always been fascinated with, you could say, forbidden knowledge. And look at the story of the fall in Genesis chapter 3. Eve was told by the serpent, well, by Satan, who was possessing the serpent, that there was knowledge that God was hiding from her. And she, being in a perfect state, decided to believe that conspiracy, if you will. And look at the mess it's gotten this world into. And so they sapped Eve's happiness. They will sap yours. I'm not saying all conspiracy theories are false. There are some that I think are true. But I don't focus on them, because they just take all the joy out of life, because you're focusing on human, not on the divine, not on Jesus. And so they will sap your happiness. As I already mentioned, the next reason, many of them aren't even true. If you study the Bible, you're not going to find anything about lizard men. You're not going to find anything about little gray aliens. The Bible does say God has created other worlds. And the Bible does give us the hint that there is life on other planets. But the Bible only tells us about one fallen planet, and that is us. It doesn't tell us that any other planets fell, so we have no other reason to believe there's other hostile life forms out in other parts of the universe, because it's just not true. I believe there are other populated worlds, but I don't believe they have fallen, because the Bible doesn't give us that information. In fact, it gives us the opposite. In the book of Job, in the beginning, it says that God was basically having you could say a church board meeting in heaven, and all the sons of God, that would be, Adam was referred to as a son of God, so we could make the connection that all the sons of God are the heads of different worlds. And there was only one representative of one fallen world in that meeting, in the book of Job. So, a lot of these conspiracy theories, they're not true. Lizards are four-legged creatures. There's only one type of lizard that is not, and it's called the legless lizard. It doesn't even have legs. There are no humans that secretly underneath their human skin are really aliens. And the final point that I have is, even the true ones are not going to help you in your walk of salvation. If you could have all the evidence in the world that one of them is true, how is it going to help your salvation? It's not. The short answer is, it's not. There's a lot of conspiracies going on right now about this virus, this worldwide virus thing. Now, it is true that YouTube is demonetizing a lot of videos that mention the coronavirus. Now, my channel is not big enough to be monetized yet, so it doesn't matter for me. But there's a lot of conspiracies about where this virus came from, who created it, if it was created by man, or if it just mutated in nature. There's conspiracies about what it means, what the new vaccine, when it comes out, is going to mean. And the fact is, my friends, you don't know any of that information for sure is true or not. So I would recommend that we don't focus on it. It doesn't matter whether man created the virus or whether it really did come from a bat. It doesn't matter. Why? Because it's not in the Bible. The Bible told us these things are going to happen. It didn't tell us who was going to originate these pestilences. Now, we do know that all things that are evil come from Satan. So whether it came from man or from a bat, the virus came from Satan. He was the mastermind behind it. It doesn't matter whether it came from a man or a bat. There's people that believe the vaccine is going to be used to introduce the mark of the beast. You don't know that. The Bible doesn't say that. The Bible says that the Antichrist will be the one to introduce the mark of the beast. And Revelation 13 tells us that the Antichrist and the United States government are going to work together to introduce the mark of the beast. It doesn't say anything about a vaccine. Could it be used? Possibly. But we don't know. There's a lot of what-ifs floating around in the world today. And the fact remains, my friends, is that what-ifs are not going to save you. They're not going to draw you closer to Jesus. All they're going to do is sap the joy out of your life and possibly cost you your salvation. I have seen it, my friends. People get involved in conspiracies, and then before you know it, they're off worshiping conspiracies. Conspiracies have become their god. And so we have to be careful what we focus on. I'm going to leave you with a verse in 1 Timothy 3, verse 9. No, sorry. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verses 3 to 9. And if I can figure out how, I'll put it on the screen. I'm still fairly new to video editing. It says, as I urged you when I went into Macedonia, remain in Ephesus that you may do this. Charge some that they teach no other doctrine, nor give heed to fables and endless genealogies which cause disputes rather than godly edification which is in faith. Now, the purpose of the commandment is love from a pure heart, from a good conscience, and from sincere faith, from which some having strayed, have turned aside to idle talk, desiring to be teachers of the law, understanding neither what they say, nor the things which they affirm. So, Paul is commanding us here, don't teach anything other than the gospel. Don't give heed to fables and endless genealogies which cause disputes, rather than godly edification. So, genealogies and conspiracies are not the same thing, but they both cause disputes, because you have one person who says the government was behind 9/11, and you have this person who says no, they weren't. When the Bible specifically charges us not to give heed to these things that cause disputes. Now, if somebody is persecuting you and making fun of you because you believe and you stand on the truth, that's one thing. You can't help how people react to your genuineness of your faith. However, you can help causing needless disputes. It happens a lot. Satan is a mastermind about how to get us to fight over stupid things. And this is one of those ways, is to focus on things that are fables, honestly, or idle talk, he says in verse 6. They desire to be teachers, but they don't understand what they're getting into, Paul says. So I encourage you, just don't bother with these conspiracy theories. Some may be true, some aren't, but they're not going to help you to get to heaven. So let's just not focus on them, my friends. This is the Advent Truth. Thank you for tuning into this video. Please like and subscribe and share if you have been blessed.